गाइस लाइव स्टार्ट हो चुकी है अपनी फिर से। अभी से पहले 2.5 घंटे की लाइव मैंने एंड करी है और ये अगेन फिर से स्टार्ट कर दी मैंने लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग। तो यहाँ पर अभी लगा लेते हैं एक पोल। पोल लगाएंगे इसमें सिंपल सा लाइक व्हाट इज योर ब्रांच ब्रांच व्हाट इज योर ब्रांच या फिर क्लास कौन सी है भाई। और इट्स नॉट। एक सेकेंड में क्या बोलते हैं अपना चैट जीपीटी से लेके आता हूँ कोई सा पोल और फिर देखते हैं। एक सेकेंड अभी आया हूँ मैं चैट जीपीटी पर। यहाँ पर एंटर करेंगे हम एक प्रॉम क्रिएट लाइव पोल फॉर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स gives for option cubes live poll like Java Python which give 10 more 10 more polls. Enter. Which mobile development platform do you prefer? Which version control system do you use? Which database you can prefer for applications? Which ID you can use coding? Which platform do you prefer? Which CIT GitHub? What's your favorite JavaScript framework? Which agile methodology do you use? Which operating system do you use for development? Yes, ये वाला सही है. Which testing framework? Control C. यहाँ आना है और यहाँ करेंगे पेस्ट क्वेश्चन को. Which operating system do you use for development? First one is MacBook. ये तो बहुत कम लोगों के पास होता है, हाँ, लेकिन मतलब होता है बहुत से के पास. मेरे पास है विंडोज, तो यहाँ लिखेंगे विंडोज. एड मोर ऑप्शन. लिनक्स. लिनक्स लिनक्स होता है, लिनक्स होता है, लिनक्स. लेट मी चेक. लिनक्स होता है. मैक ओएस, विंडोज. एक सेकेंड. लिनक्स, विंडोज, मैक ओएस, क्रोम ओएस. लिनक्स. एंड यहाँ पर मैकबुक की वहाँ पर लिखा है, रहने दो. क्रोम ओएस. स्टार्टअप ऑल. यहाँ पे पोल स्टार्ट कर दिया है अभी. लाइव चैट. एक की मैंने डाल देता हूँ कि ना कैसे यूज करते हैं. से समथिंग लाइक क्या लिखूं. चैट जीपीटी से पूछूं क्या कोई बढ़िया क्वेश्चन. गिव मी बेस्ट क्वेश्चन. अभी क्या है कि मैंने चैट जीपीटी की स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं करी यहाँ पर, क्योंकि 2 सेकंड काम है फिर हटा देंगे. गिव मी बेस्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर लाइव क्यू एंड ए. एंटर. What advice do you have some for this instant gain some fuel? Top 5. What advice do you have someone to just start their career in software engineering? How do you stay updated with the latest trend and technology in software development industry? What you are prepared to debugging difficulties in code? What's your most important thing to consider where design is capable? And how do you how do you manage technical debt in long-term project? What is the expert? First one line is interesting. That is, let me copy first and delete over here. Paste. What advice do you have for someone who just start their career in software development? So start क्या है? ओके तो यहाँ से करते हैं कट और अब करते हैं पहले इसे ऑन कर लेते हैं मतलब लॉक खोल लेते हैं इसका पासवर्ड बहुत सिंपल है gmail.com और पासवर्ड है इसका NRR123 मतलब 3 बार 3 साइन इन आई एम सक्सेसफुली साइन इन from here go to profile this profile section and setting section that is dark और हेल्प फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे हमें नहीं पता क्या करना है यहाँ पर तो सिंपल हेल्प पर क्लिक करेंगे और यहाँ पर हेल्प 4 पॉइंट लिखे हैं मैंने जिसमें इसके 3 है अपने हेल्प के और लास्ट वाला थोड़ा मोटिवेशन टाइप का है हेल्प मोबाइल इंग्लिश यहाँ पर 3 इसलिए मतलब सामने लिखी क्योंकि ये बहुत ज़्यादा यूज्ड होती है वेबसाइट मोबाइल इंग्लिश प्रैक्टिस और ब्लॉकचेन डेटा साइंस बाकी ये सब लिखा है
constructor private in the Dart, we just have to call the class name, and instead of simply calling the constructor, we will write dot and underscore. So this underscore means the private sign as with the variables. So this is the norm of Dart. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something. So this is the norm of Dart. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. This was a bit long tutorial, but this was a very useful tutorial, and thank you for watching. If you learned something new, please like the video, and if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe because more amazing videos are coming along the way.
Shaving discomfort? Never again.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Coding with T. Today we are going to learn how to create splash screen in Flutter. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Coding with T. Today we are going to learn how to create themes in the Flutter, or how we can set up themes in the Flutter. In this tutorial, first we will learn Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to we are Flutter application, the playlist that we are screen. So before moving further, or you can also get the playlist link from the right top corner, and after the right top corner. So without wasting time, let's get started. Page, and in the center we have a home page, right? Okay, now to add dependencies in the project, we will go to pubspec.yaml file, and in here I have just removed all the comments. To remove the comments, press Ctrl or dependency, hit enter. Okay, dependency has been added. In here you can see we have a Flutter native. You can add color. So this is how we add. Have to call assets. In the assets, go to the images, and in here you can see we have already an image added. So make sure you have an image there, and then we have to give path assets slash images slash name. Make sure that you don't have any spaces. There is no forward slash at the start. So this assets is basically a folder over here. It's assets. So we have assets. In the assets we have images, and inside we have here. So we will copy this, and also we are going to use same image for the dark background. Okay, inside its documentation you just have to scroll bit down. You can see we have to add color like this, and in here you can add all these options, but at the end you can see we have a running example which is color. Then this is an image. Branding will be another image will be displayed at the bottom of the screen. This is color dark, and this is not dark image, but it's image Flutter native splash colon create. So this is going.
Flutter Initial, Flutter Modern Sign Up, Model Login Page, Animated Modern Design Flutter Login Page. Here we go.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Coding with T. Today we're going to learn how to create a login screen design in Flutter. If you are following, you know that we are creating login Flutter application. This application can be used in any type of Flutter application which requires login and sign up functionality. And in today's tutorial, we are going to create this login screen, but in the previous tutorial, we already covered all the top listed screens. And after this design portion, we are going to jump towards its backend. So let's see what we are going to learn today. This is the splash screen. You can see on your screen with the animation. We also created the native splash screen, and after this animation, welcome screen appears. So in here, you can see it's also animating. So animation was the previous tutorial. So you can get all these tutorials. Link is in the description. Okay, when we click on this login screen, and you can see this is the login screen that we are going to design. So we will divide the screen in three portions. The first one is this image with two text, and then we have a complete form till the login button, and after that we have one text and two buttons.
पूरा बड़ा है इसमें, खाली ये इमेज छोड़ के बाकी सब सेम रखूंगा,
So
अच्छा
we
रहेगा।
have divided this into three portions. So to get
अभी तक हमारे ऐप में कुछ इस तरीके से था, मतलब था ही नहीं कुछ, बहुत सिंपल था। इसे रीरन करता हूँ मैं, बोले तो रिफ्रेश। देखो पहले स्प्लेस आई हमारे पास छोटी सी। अच्छा मैंने लॉग आउट नहीं करा, लेट मी शो यू लॉग आउट। हाँ देखो यहाँ पर कितनी बेसिक और मतलब बहुत क्या बोल सकते हैं, बहुत सिंपल लग रहा है बहुत। और ये जो है ये थोड़ा मतलब इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है। यहाँ पे लॉगिन है, फिर साइन इन विद गूगल भी है। तो ये पूरा सेम डिज़ाइन करेंगे। कट
all the previous links and all the playlists. So you just have to click on the description below, and inside you will get the link to this playlist. And in here you can see we have all the tutorials related to all the elements. And if you open any of the video, just go to the descriptions, and in here you can see we have the links. This is the complete playlist link, and this is where from you can get all the resources and a complete project. So it is a codingwitht.com/flutterlogin app over here, and inside you can see this is a complete. I will drop the link to the downloadable button over here, and inside you can see these are the color
वेबकैम
codes, these are the
एक
fonts, these are
सेकेंड,
the tutorials,
थोड़ा सा
and then we have complete list, colors.dart, images, sizes, and text.dart. So
एक सेकेंड, वेबकैम ले लो एंड एंगेज भी रहो। वेबकैम तो हाँ लेने का सोच रहा हूँ, 4K वेबकैम लूँगा मैं। लेकिन अभी क्या है कि ऐसे ही मतलब बोल सकते हैं सीख रहा हूँ पूरे अच्छे से चलाने का। 4K का लेने का सोच रहा हूँ, वेबकैम ले लेंगे बाद में। और इंगेज का मतलब ऐसा है कि बार बार देखना पड़ता है, या फिर ऐसा करूँ मतलब दूसरा मोबाइल में रखूँ यहाँ पे और उसमें भी लाइव स्ट्रीम अपनी ओपन करो, फिर देखते जाऊँ, कमेंट के रिप्लाई देते जाऊँ, तब सही रहेगा। लेकिन अभी लगा है मेरा मोबाइल चार्जिंग में, अभी चार्ज हो जाए फिर अपन वैसा देखते हैं। खुश कुमार का थ्री, ठीक है।
so you can get all the data from here. So without wasting time, let's get started. Open Android Studio, and we are inside the project we created for our Flutter login application. For today's tutorial, the first thing we need to do is go to assets to check if we need to add an image. So we don't need to add an image because we are going to use this welcome screen image. After the images, go to logos, and in here you can see I have already added a Google logo. So once assets added, go to the lib folder, and inside the source, go to the constants, and we don't need any new color. Okay, inside the image strings, you can see we are going to use the same welcome screen image and also this Google logo image. So both are defined. So instead of using the strings, we will use this variable, and then we don't have to define any size. But in the text strings, over here you can see in the login screen text, so you can get all these resources from codingwitht.com. So let's close the constants. Okay, now let's go to feature resources in the text strings. Over here you can
Somewhere from YouTube, get and call resources, restart your only with us, imagine and see. What should I do? String T login title, अच्छा अपन खुद से लिख लेंगे।
you can see in the login screen text. So you can get all these resources from codingwitht.com. So let's close the constants. Okay, now let's go to features. If you're new, you can watch the folder structure tutorial from the same playlist. In the screens, let's create a login folder and file. So you created a login folder with list in the screens. Let's create a login folder and file. So you created a login folder with the login screen.dart inside it. Now inside this login screen,
login hexagon authentication iOS mock interviews inside a hopper किसके अंदर आएगा फीचर्स के अंदर ऑथेंटिकेशन स्क्रीन और स्क्रीन के अंदर एक डायरेक्टरी फाइल नहीं स्क्रीन के अंदर डायरेक्टरी से पी क्या था
you created a login folder.
सिंपल लॉगिन insert dot file login के dot screen minimize k start
with the login screen.dart inside it. Now inside this login screen, just import the material.dart package and create a stateless widget, which is the login screen, but we want to wrap it with a scaffold. So press Alt Enter, wrap it with a widget, name it scaffold. Okay, now again inside the container, we want to make our login screen, but we want to wrap
ठीक import material x
it with the login screen.dart inside it. Now inside this login screen, just import the material.dart package and create a stateless widget, which is the login screen, but we want to wrap it with a scaffold. So press Alt Enter, wrap it with a widget, name it scaffold. Okay, now again inside the container, we want to make our layout scrollable. So we will again wrap this container with a widget called single child scroll view. Control Alt L to align the code. Now inside the scaffold, we have single child scroll view, which is going to take a single child, not a list of children's, and it is going to make it scrollable, right? So now inside this container, let's add padding. So we will use the default size, which is t default size. Import the library. You can see it inside the constants slash sizes. After the padding, let's add a child, and as a child we will use column, because inside the column we will place all the elements as its children. Let's add the first children, which is the image. We will use asset image because we already have an image created. We will use t welcome screen image, which we already defined in the image strings. After the image, we need two text. First one is t login title. Import its library. Control D to duplicate and change this t login to t login subtitle. Now as a style, let's give it a theme, the text theme that we already created, and we will pass headline 2 or headline 1, it's up to you, and pass the body text 1 for the subtitle. Now let's try to run the application. Okay, so our application is running. This is splash screen, and then we have the welcome screen. Click on this login. We know inside the screen, when the login button is clicked, we want to switch it to the login screen. So go to welcome screen.dart, and inside this outline button, let's use the getText property. You can use navigator.of_context, but I am going to use the getText property, which is get.to, and inside we will call login screen. We now click on this login button, and you can see we have one image and two text, but a line in the center, and the image is too big. Let's close this, and now the first thing is we need to make sure that inside the column cross-axis alignment should be at the start. So element should start from the left side. Let's save it, and you can see the text has been moved to the left side. Now to make this image responsive, because different
Practice makes line perfect. ठीक है. Inside this, we have style, then text style, font size should be 12 or 14. Let's set 14. Font weight normal, not bold.
devices have different.
And inside this cross-axis alignment dot star. Let's set it. एक second. Now let's go login screen, control C. यहाँ पर इस प्लेस के बाद आना चाहिए हमारी लॉगिन स्क्रीन. तो इस प्लेस डॉट डॉट और गेट की जगह कंट्रोल V, लॉगिन स्क्रीन, import. Here we go, control S. This place. Okay, इतने ऊपर पहुंच गई. डिफॉल्ट स्क्रीन इमेज, तो साइज वगैरह भी कम ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा इसका. लंबी पेंटिंग लॉगिन स्क्रीन के अंदर. Now inside this style decoration, size no, size no, size no. So where to give it size? इसे ही रैप कर देते हैं पैडिंग में. सिंपल पैडिंग 8 और एक बार कंट्रोल S. MacBook and Windows. कुछ नहीं फर्क पड़ा ज़्यादा और छोटा करना पड़ेगा। यहाँ पर मतलब ऑल की जगह देते हैं हम सिमेट्रिक, वर्टिकल एंड हॉरिजॉन्टल। क्यू वर्टिकल 30, कंट्रोल एस। अब थोड़ा सही है और छोटा करना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा। सही तो लग रहा है फिर भी। लेट्स से 40, कंट्रोल एस। तो सही है। प्रैक्टिस मेक्स मैन परफेक्ट। टेक्स्ट टेक्स्ट को बोल्ड कर दूं या स्टार्ट से वर्क देना पड़ेगा। प्रोसेसेस inaccessible. 16 और 24, 16 24 controllers। अब थोड़ा सही लग रहा है। वेलकम बैक, प्रैक्टिस मैक्सिमम परफेक्ट। थोड़ा थोड़ा पेडिंग दे दूं क्या दोनों को? हेडिंग डॉट ऑल नहीं, स्टार्ट नहीं, ओनली स्टार्ट, लेफ्ट से लेफ्ट 20, पैडिंग ओनली लेफ्ट 20, कंट्रोल एस। अब यहाँ से आना चाहिए पैडिंग अच्छी सी। बेटर, ठीक है।
different screen sizes. So we will first get the size of this whole
कुछ ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगा इसका।
device. So using media query with the context, we can get image responsive because different devices have different screen sizes. So we will first get the size of this whole device. So using media query with the context, we can get the size. So inside this size, we have other properties like height, width, aspect ratio, and bunch of other.
Size equal to media query dot of context inside is dot size। इसके बाद
Other properties, but we get this size, go to this image as height of this image, or you can also play with the width, but as the height of the image, I will pass size dot height, give it only 2% of the screen. So multiply it with the 0.2. Let's save the code, and you can see the image has been shrinked to the top. Okay, the first portion is completed, but in here you
हाइट के अंदर साइज एंड देन टॉप हाइट मल्टीप्लाई 0.2, remove const। okay, control this। नथिंग चेंज, क्योंकि मैंने यहाँ पे कांस्टेंट साइज दी है। नहीं, vertical, let's remove this.
You can see that the image is currently overlapping with our safe area with our top bar. So we will wrap this scaffold with a safe area because we don't want to go into that area. Let's save it, and you can see that now it's black. This region is not being used. Now the first block is ready. So I've added comment as section 1, and it's end here, and the section 2 now.
Absolutely.
Now it's a form. So let's create a form. If you don't know anything about the forms, text form fields, button, and how to submit a form, I suggest you to watch the previous crash course tutorial and typically the third section of this crash course tutorial, which is completely related to forms.
Windows 37 and 4.
And fields. Okay, now inside this form as a child we are going to use, because it's again a single child, so we will use a column, place list of items. Inside this column add a children, and also to make all the elements to the left side.
Test heading we have form can be child, that is column can be children, this child. It's looking better.
Right, we will simply copy this and paste the cross-section alignment to start. As a list of children's, the first one is the outline. The first one is the text form field. Okay, now inside this text form field, we will go to decoration and use input decoration. The first thing is the icon, so we will use the prefix icon. These are the material icons, but if you want to use font or some icons, we have already created the side, so we will use a column, place list of items. Inside this column add a children, and also to make all the elements to the left side, we will simply copy this and paste the cross-section alignment to start. As a list of children's, the first one is the outline. The first one is the text form field. Okay, now inside this text form field, we will go to decoration and use input decoration. The first thing is the icon, so we will use the prefix icon. These are the material icons, but if you want to use font or some icons, we have already created the video about the icons in the same Flutter crash course, so I'll drop the link in the description. You can watch that as well. So after the prefix icon, we want to add a label text. Okay, as in label text, we have already created the email. Okay, after the label text, let's add hint text, or you can say a placeholder text, which will be same email. Okay, now let's save it, and you can see we have the logo with the email, and also the placeholder is being placed over there. So if you want to keep the same style without the border line, you can use it. But if you want to add a border, we have a border property, and as a border property we can use outlined input border. Save it, and you can see the border has been applied. Now to add a spacing inside the form, there are two ways. We can either use container with the top and bottom padding, and also we can use a size widget. So instead of creating using two widgets at the start and end of the form, we will create a single widget which is container, and inside we can use padding because we are using two widgets at the start and end of the form. We will create a single widget which is container, and inside we can use padding because we only need a vertical padding, so we will use edge index dot symmetric, and let's give it 20. Save it, and you can see the padding has been applied. Okay, so our first text field is ready. Now to create a second one, let's copy this, paste it again, give it 20. Save it, and you can see the padding has been applied. Okay, so our first text field is ready. Now to create a second one, let's copy this, paste it again. First text field is ready. Now to create a second one, let's copy this, paste it again. Change this T email to T password. Change the icon. Save it. We have the second text field. To add a space in here, we will use size box, give it a height, T form height, the variable we have already created over here, which is 30. t form height, the variable we have already created. Over here, which is 30. Also inside this container, I will replace it with the t form height minus 10, which will text. See the body here, which icon. Don't want to go into it, and you can see the border has been applied. You have to add a space there, add suffix icon and field as the password field. We are going to add suffix icon, and in here we are going to use icon button spaces there. Okay, now to make the second field as the password field, we are going to add suffix icon, and in here we are going to use icon button. Okay, so I have added the icon button. On press is currently null, and as an icon I have used this I icon. So now we have two text fields. Again, give it a space, and now we want to add the forget password. which is the text button. So add a text button, pass null here. As a child, use as a text, which is a T forget password. Let's again give it a space, and now we want to add the forget password, which is a text button. So add a text button, pass null here. As a child, use as a text, which is a T forget password. Let's save it, and you can see it's on the currently on the left side. And also the text color you can see is currently disabled because we passed null over here. If we pass this angular brackets and save it, and you can see the color has been changed, but we want to put this button text to the right side, so we will wrap this text widget with the align property, and as its alignment we will use center right. Let's save it, and you can see it's pushed towards the center right. Control Alt L. After this button we need to add elevated button, which will be the submit button of this form. As its child we will use the text login. Which will be the uppercase. Let's save it, and you can see the default button is the black one with a light text. We know to make make this elevated button to cover the whole screen, we will again wrap it with the, and you can see the button is now displaying on the complete size, on the complete width. So in here our form is completed, but you can see it's looking a bit messy. So we will inside the form, right click, go to refactor and extract this as a flutter widget, name it login form. So we have login form class created. Let's cut it. Inside this folder, we will create new file login form widget dot dot, and we place the login form inside here. Let's close it, import it. Login form, we can also convert or to move these image and to text in another widget. So to keep our main file as much clean as possible. And also in that case, we will not require any comments. Wrap them with a column widget, column with a cross alignment at start, and also cut these two text, paste it inside it, extract it as a flutter widget, login header widget, refactor. Again, this class has created, cut it from here. So I have also created this login header widget class, and let's just import it. So in here, because we want to extract this footer also, so let's say we want to wrap it with a widget in a column again, but this time this column will have a cross-axis alignment as a center. So as its children, let's add the text with a simple or. Let's save it, and you can see the or is there. So cross-axis alignment is not in the center because at the top you can see it's in the start. So currently column is not taking the complete space, shifted towards the left side. But okay, now let's create the Google login button, which will the outline button on press is currently null, and as a text we will use T sign in with Google. Let's save it, and you can see it's there. But now we want Google login button, which will the outline button on press is currently null, and as a text we will use T sign in with Google. Let's save it, and you can see it's there. But now we want to also add icon with this. Control Alt L to align, and without the outline button, we will write dot icon, and now as an icon we can pass the icon whatever we want to use. This icon is a widget, so it's icon we can, and with outline button we will write dot icon, and now as an icon we can pass the icon whatever we want to use. This icon is a widget, so it's not necessary to use the icon, but we can use the image. So we will use the asset image and go to constant